G'day Footy Tragics, thanks for joining us again for another episode of Between the Posts. This is round 4 just completed. My name is Sean Jackson. I'm joined as usual by my co-host Tony Neill. How are you, cowboy?
I am absolutely sensational, Sean, and let me tell you folks, I've got 10 favourite teams in Division 1 at the moment. It is so up and down, but I came across a fantastic quote today, Sean. If you can match them physically, you will beat them mentally.
Where did you come across that? Who wrote that?
Tony Neill. Anyway, I will go into that when we get to the division wraps. I'm going to talk a little bit more about a couple of games I went to, because I went around to 5 on the weekend. But one of the Division 1 games, I've got a little bit of something I'd like to talk about in that game around that.
We look forward to that. I remember when Dermot Brereton wrote an article many years ago, and they said if you took the word I out of his article, he had nothing to say. Well, let's move right along, because we have got a fair bit for you tonight.
You talking about you or me? Come on, mate. What else have we got?
We've got an interview with Brett Backwell. I know you ventured down to catch up with Brett, the coach of Brighton, so we look forward to that. We've got an interview with Simon Black and Richard Douglas, of course, Simon Black Academy, good sponsors of our show. We'll have the Division 1 roundup and all the other divisions, Tony.
Yeah, there's a bit going on, Sean.
And marks and goals. And I'll tell you what, we're going to start the show with after the break, some tribunal talk.
Oh, okay. Yep, hot gossip.
Wow, there is some stuff come across my desk today that will blow your minds. So, whatever you do, now's your chance. Grab a cup of tea, grab a beer, strap yourselves in, because we have got a show for you.
Nine Adelaide and the Adelaide Footy League. Teaming up to bring you season 2022. The Adelaide Footy League, strengthening communities through footy.
Welcome back, folks. Well, from time to time we have some fun on this show, Sean, but there's some serious stuff going on. We're 4 rounds in. Well, let's talk about a couple of the topics, and the first one is umpire abuse.
Yeah, it's topical, isn't it? Front page of the Advertiser today.
Yep.
And look, let's face it, the AFL have introduced some measures now to try and reduce that, or to try and change the culture of umpire abuse. And whether you agree or whether you disagree, I think it's going to have some impact. But in our competition, the Adelaide Football League, we've seen 2 this season already, one from a coach and one from a player in the reserves team on the weekend. Both got 5-game suspension, and we're probably lucky they didn't get a bit more. So we've got to understand, I think we've got to understand that umpires are sacrosanct, and whether you agree or whether you disagree. And look, I understand that the Scotch game was a was a difficult game. It was emotional. It was a scoring opportunity right at the end of the game that the goal umpire paid a goal. It was overruled by the field umpire, which cost Scotch their first win of the game. I understand that. But I just think we've got to be careful. Well, not careful. We've just got to stop umpire abuse, and if it means some people have got to pay the penalty, so be it.
I think part of it too, Sean, is umpires don't change their minds, and you often see on game day there might be a holding the ball, and 10 players will be looking at the umpires holding the ball, and he'll pay it. He knows. They've been trained thoroughly on this. We saw it close up last year, and you know, we don't go back to our careers too much, I suppose, but you just don't do it. Like, the umpire is untouchable. Let it alone. Worry about your own game. Worry about where you need to be positioned, what you need to be doing. You've got so much to worry about and what's happening with your opponent than to worry about what the umpire's doing. Let the umpire, because without the umpire, we quite simply haven't got a game.
Well, I heard a call back on the radio today from a lady who was comparing culture of Australian rules football to rugby. And she mentioned that in rugby, you just don't hear umpire abuse from the spectators. You go into a game here, SANFL, AFL level, and it's common, isn't it? Everyone's...
Yes. Yep.
It's almost like a passage of right that you've paid your $10 or you've paid your $20, so you're entitled to the umpire's fair game. And I for one don't like it. I just think it's unnecessary from spectators, but it's certainly unnecessary from players and coaches. And the main reason is, if you're worried about the umpires, I think you're losing focus about what you should be concentrating on, and that is your game or your players' games.
I agree wholeheartedly. coming from someone who had a suspended sentence many moons ago. But you learn your lesson, and it does. They're not going to change their mind. And please look after the umpires. And remember the old days, we used to do 3 cheers when we were little. Yeah. 3 cheers for the umpire coming off the ground. Now the next one, Sean, and I think, let's get into this one, the tribunal, the sling tackles especially.
Yep.
Are clubs having someone come out and helping them with their tackling practice? We discussed it at sample level. You do get that. We've both been through it. You get a rugby guy who'll come and he'll teach you how to drop them down to the knees and so on. But the sling tackle, you know when you've got someone, it's a split-second movement. I've got them. The second action.
Yeah, once again, I mean, the head's become sacrosanct in our game, isn't it? We now know so much more about concussion than we ever did in the past, and where we would accept that as common behaviour. And a good example is Brighton game 1, 3 players suspended, 2 for 3 games, 1 for 2 games with sling tackles. And one player apparently had come from the Southern League and said, "What are you talking about? This is common behaviour. This is standard practice. You know, this is not." Well, sorry, we're not in the Southern League. We're in the Adelaide Footy League, and we are here to protect all players. We want our players having the right to come up and play a game and go home safe. And that is the number one thing. And this weekend again, round 4, we have had 3 players suspended again for sling tackles. So a Division 2 side, Broadview, there's a player looking at 5 games. A Division 1 player, 2 games. Old Ignatians, and St Paul's in Division 6, I think, play 4 games.
And you and I have both seen that vision just recently.
Yeah.
And well done by the umpires. And you know, you either get a card or you get reported, or they can look at the vision. And we're not saying anything out of school. The vision's there. Every game is done by Dartfish.
Yeah.
And you can watch goals and marks, but you can also see sometimes the unsavoury stuff. And you know, for the coaches there, if I was coaching currently, it'd just be a quick chat. Let's just be careful about how we do it. There's ways to put pressure on, and I'll come to that in our Division Rap, a team that's doing it very well, but not in the unsavoury acts.
Well, I think as a player, and certainly as a coach, you don't want to see players missing games through suspension. And 5 weeks is a massive penalty. 3 weeks is a massive penalty. You know, on the back of all our issues with COVID, we don't want to see players missing with something as simple as games lost through illegal tackles, sling tackles, whatever you want to call them. You need to get your technique right. Coaches need to address it. The old days, we would have thought, so what, it's good, hard, tough footy. Nowadays, we all understand the duty of care we have, and whether we like it or not, that is the current world we live in.
And very quickly, we're not preaching and saying, now is the time to start looking at it. It's actually happening. We've had 2, 3, 4 games already. It's happening now. Now is the time to act on it.
Well, we've had 6 players suspended through sling tackles.
Yep.
But more importantly, we haven't even spoke about the players that got tackled,
the
injuries that they've sustained. So the Division 2 game on the weekend, the Athelston player, I believe, is may have been affected pretty badly by the tackle. So we don't want to see that. So let's get the word out. Sling tackles are just not acceptable in our game anymore.
Well spoken, Shawnee.
We'll be back. G'day folks, Norwood Oval is notoriously known as the home of the Norwood Redlegs. They've played in the South Australian National Football League for over 100 years. But lately the Norwood Oval has become the home of the Simon Black Football Academy, and I'm lucky enough today to be joined by a couple of real influential people in that academy. First of all, Simon Black. How are you, Blackie?
G'day, Jacko. I'm great, mate. How are you?
Good. How are you? Are you enjoying the sunshine here today in Adelaide, mate?
Beautiful. We had lots of rain in Queensland, so it's lovely to be here.
Good to hear. Alongside Simon is someone who needs no introduction in Adelaide, is Richie Douglas, who played over 200 games for the Adelaide Crows, best and fairest winner. How are you, Dougie?
Good, Jacko. Thank you, mate. Thanks for the lovely introduction. No Brownlow medals, no premierships there, but I'll take the BNF. Thanks, Jacko, but lovely to be here in the sunshine.
Well, I thought I would drop that out of Blackie's intro because that's normally what we do here associated with him. Only kidding, Blackie. Now, mate, the Simon Black Football Academy, what possesses a man to, first of all, think that it's a good idea to start his own football academy and then move it right across Australia?
It's a little bit self-indulgent, isn't it, Jacko? No, look, it's we're all about education, developing young people, young males and females, and I guess the three pillars of our program we speak about is education. Our education partner is Torrens University, and students do a diploma level course, as you know, or a bachelor over 3 years, so either a 1 year or 3 year program. And around that we run a football program, an athletic program. So the AM part of the day is our athletic/football component out here in Norwood Oval, and then we obviously have lunch, and then the afternoon's academic side. So it's a combination of education and sport. And around that we try to put some, real life skills, personal development side of things, whether it's learning about nutrition or goal setting, or learning to give and receive feedback and all those sort of aspects. So we've been going for, this is our 6th year. Really enjoy it. It's been fantastic. Had programs around the country and have some great staff and you guys here in Adelaide, and it's been a really good concept, and like I said, really enjoyed it.
Okay, and Dougie, you've been involved for a couple of years now, mate. You must be thrilled to get out of bed and be able to come to somewhere like this to show your wares.
Oh, it's fantastic. We've got some really great students, obviously well run by Blackie, the program, and of course yourself, but I'm lucky enough to be the coach of these students. So Tuesday, Thursday mornings here at Norwood Oval, as you mentioned. So trying to impart some of my knowledge, my expertise on these young students who are just like sponges, really. They want to learn, they want to become better at football, they want to improve their studies, but also their life skills. That's the real strength of the program, is trying to become better people, and they come from all different walks of life and all around South Australia. So to be able to share that journey with them and impart some of my knowledge and help them along their way, not just with football but with life, been very rewarding for myself, but hopefully they're once they leave the academy they become better footballers and students and people.
Yeah, terrific. So who's a perfect fit for the academy, Blackie? Who's the academy targeted at?
Yeah, it's for school leaver age bracket. The partnership with the university, with Torrens University, means it's for school leaver. So males and females from the age of 17 and a half through to mid-20s. We've got various age brackets, I guess, within that range. So it's generally 17 and a half to 20, 25. So yeah, that's sort of target audience of the program. Okay,
so for someone that's sitting at home watching this, how do they get in contact with the academy? How do they enrol?
Yeah, through our website, which is simonblack.com.au. All the information about the program is there. Learn a lot about the education side, the football component, and the life skills, as Dougie spoke about. And you can there's a contact us number there, and all the information for enrolment is there. So check it out.
Okay. So I guess if you are sitting at home and you're unsure about what you're going to do or what your child's going to do in the next 12 months, what a fantastic opportunity if they can get involved here. One thing I do know in footy is that sometimes you meet some terrific people, and the two gentlemen on my left really want to make a difference in the lives of young men and women, and this program certainly allows them the opportunity to do that. So thanks for tuning in, and simonblack.com.au. Folks, it's time to have a look at a wrap of all divisions from last Saturday. We'll start with Division 1. Tony, and you were at a game on the weekend. You were at, who were you at, first of all? Goodwood Saints and...
Goodwood and Port Districts. I actually went to the last quarter. Mate, the crowd there was absolutely sensational, huge crowd, and it was a very close game. It was 4 points, 10 points, 4 points, 10 points, and they broke away Goodwood Saints. In the end, they won by 29 points. Let me tell you, they were kicking goals and the players were coming from everywhere to celebrate, and just Luke Donaldson down there has really got that team gelling well. You can just see when a team's got it, and they seem to have that feeling amongst themselves. So grateful for the access post-game. We went in, we got a bit of the song, there was some private stuff going on, and then we got some interviews around the room. But to see how those players interact post-game, they put a jumper on me. You wouldn't believe it, but to see them And I hope it's like that every week for them. It's like they've won a final.
Well,
Very
no
good.
surprise there to me. I mean, we pick Port Districts. Most of the coaches I'm talking to now are saying Port Districts will be in the final 5, but they've got to start winning games like that. But to beat Goodwood Saints at home is always a challenge, Tony. So well done to Goodwood Saints, bouncing back after they lost the previous week to Old Iggies.
Who's next, Sean?
Well, you're telling the next one, aren't you?
No, Payneham and Old Iggies.
Payneham and Old Iggies, of course. Well, speaking of going back to back, Old Iggies, unbelievable.
Well,
did you venture out there at all? You didn't. What was the score in that game, Tone?
31 points to Old Ignatians. That's That's a 5-goal win over last year's grand finalist.
Yeah, I think they've got some real confidence now. You know, they were close for the first 3 rounds, but to get that first win against, you know, Goodwood Saints last week at home, now to back that up just like Glenunga did away from home, fantastic win. An interesting observation, the end of round 4, the bottom 2 teams in Division 1, Ross Trevor and Payneham, the 2 sides who played in the Division 1 grand final. Not saying that we'll end the season like that, folks, but it is an interesting observation. And I'll tell you what is another interesting observation. This is the closest Division 1 competition I can remember.
I'm loving it. We got Lambo, of course, next week. And I was speaking to him today and he said, Tony, he said, the next 4 to 5 weeks is really going to sort a bit of this out because Old Iggies, to me, I said, well, did you charter to get here like Glenunga did, or did it happen organically? They've worked hard to get here, but they fit. They fit in this division, Sean.
They do indeed. So, terrific win by Old Iggies. Third up, Tony, we've got Tea Tree Gully and Ross Trevor, and I've got to say, we were getting scores as we do from all games, and that one at 3/4 time was at Pertaringa. You would expect Tea Tree Gully, it was a past players' day, you would expect that at 3/4 time they're going to come home. I'm not sure if they had the win or not, but the final margin was 21 points to Ross Trevor. On the back of their loss that they had pretty poorly the previous
exactly.
week. A big surprise. And no longer do we have an undefeated side in Division 1.
Also, they've got some players back, I believe, as well, Ross Trevor.
Yeah.
So it's you can't just say, oh, we've got this game coming up this week, oh, they've lost 3 in a row, so who knows. Have a look at them. And, like you said, last year's grand finalists, they're not going to lie down. No. They're going to get going, Sean. Next game.
Yeah, no, that was a surprise. The next one wasn't a surprise to me. We covered this game on the weekend. That was St. Peter's versus Prince Alfred at Prince Alfred School. Really great tradition they've developed over the last few years. St. Peter's 12-15 to Prince Alfred 8-5. So that's 14 more scoring shots. A 34-point margin. Look, when you consider Prince Alfred had Trengove out, arguably the best player in the competition. Will Dowd and a few others. When you take out, arguably the best defender in the competition, Will. I was concerned for them at the start of the game, not to the point that I couldn't sleep, obviously, but concerned to the point that I didn't think they would win, and I thought St. Peter's would win, and win they didn't. And the 3 lads that all won the awards, courtesy of the broadcast on the weekend, all deserving winners. Jock McClay, terrific game, 6 goals. Toby Schulz in the back half, and Luke Mitchell for the player of the day. So, yeah, really good performance, good strong performance by St. Peter's on the back of a loss, an unexpected loss the previous week to Glenunga, was it?
No, I actually saw the Glenunga game a couple of weeks back. They won at the 24-minute mark of that game. They were behind most, apart from the first couple of minutes in the game, but they're looking very strong, and of course that's our clash this week. We're doing St. Peter's versus Goodwood, and it is really set up for a ripper. Yep. Last game, Glenunga versus Brighton. So I went to this game about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and Glenunga were up, and I was standing there watching. All the play had gone down into the forward 50, and all of the players were down there. However, Glenunga still manufactured a goal. But I said a quote at the start of the show, if you can match a team physically, you beat them mentally. The thing with Glenunga, when I was down there, and it's a top level division, Division 1, you could hear the thud of the bodies on bodies. They go in hard. So a player, let's say a Brighton player, gets the first handball out, pops it over to you. All of a sudden you've got 2 Glenunga players on you. You pop the ball out to a next bloke, there's 3. Their pressure, and I saw them, as I said 2 weeks ago, their pressure is phenomenal. They also have good width across the ground, so they know how to cover territory. And I believe, personally, they are very well coached at the moment. A bit like myself, you stand up with your toes on the white line and Nathan's Grimer's calling all day long. So fantastic there. As I said, they cover the width. And look, for Brighton, I understand they've got a fair few players out, whether it's COVID or injury and or suspension. Did a great interview with Brett last week. 1 game doesn't make the season, 5 games doesn't make the season. You know, if they can stay in the division, fantastic. What they are doing, and I'd like to work on the positives, is they're getting games into players that are coming up and having to fill spots. And it's not so much for this year, but it's in that next 2 to 3 years. If you can get your juniors coming through, there's a lot of homegrown, and get games into these young players, I think they're going to go on over the next 2 or 3 years. So the bigger picture, I think, for Brighton is, at the moment, it's development for down the track as well.
Yeah, you've got to be careful about development when it costs you games of footy, and if you end up getting relegated, and the competition is so even this year, every game's important, and there are no clear winners. I'm just glad we're not running a tipping competition. Phil Herden.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Thank God he's not running one this year, because we would all be looking like fools. So that's Division 1 done. We'll move on to Division 2, Tone, and I looked at Division 2 highlights on the weekend, and a few things that jumped out at me were, first of all, North Haven and Broadview, only sides undefeated at this stage.
Okay. Yep.
So that's a good effort by both of those clubs. Salisbury North and Adelaide Uni are the surprise for me, coming down from Division 1, yet to win both of those teams. But Adelaide Uni, not only are they not winning, they're getting beaten by big margins.
I noticed that, yes.
For the first time ever, if you look at their scores in their B grade are getting smacked, and traditionally...
Oh, so the depth.
Yeah, traditionally their B grade has been very, very strong and always plays finals, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing with Adelaide Uni results at the moment. To me, Division 2, the top 5 is already done and dusted. If you're not in the top 5 now, forget about it. The only 2 that could possibly make it outside of the 5, in my opinion, are Henley and Gazer, and they're on 1 win and 3 losses. You want to be trying to keep the win ledger in the positive, or at least even, and they are 2 off the pace at the moment.
Gazer got pumped, I noticed,
and
also Henley. Huge crowd out there. I saw some vision of that game. Division 3, Sip and Save. Westminster, 98-point winners over CBC Old Collegians. I did get into rooms for the B grade, end of the B grade. They had their first win in a long time. We've got some great stuff up on social media with that. But for Westminster, Filkey kicked 7 goals. Very quickly, what I noticed watching was CBC were doing a press, couldn't get back. Westminster went over the top. There was no one in that half of the ground. They just walked goals in. For the little bit that I saw. I would like to thank, is it Carl Harris, the coach of CBC?
Carl Harris,
for allowing us access to film some of the footage around the huddle. And the president of Westminster, you wouldn't believe it, plays in the B grade, so we got an interview with him. The other one, very quickly, Division 3, Edwardstown got up over Flinders Park. We often look at Flinders Park and Golden Grove as the big 2. Edwardstown won by 20 points. To get 3rd spot over Flinders Park in 4th.
Yeah, it's a very good win. I must also acknowledge something that we should have acknowledged last week, and that is Seton Ramblers beat Scotch College almost in the last minute of the game last week, and that was the controversial finish where the goal umpire gave the goal and the field umpire overruled it. The goal stood, Scotch would have had their first win. The goal was disallowed. Seton Ramblers got their first win. But the thing that needs acknowledging is that Paul Marshall is 47 years of age. 47 years of age, and he played in the A grade, and my mail was played very well. So Marsh, well done, mate, to be still playing A grade footy. I know you're the coach, so it's an easy selection. 47 years of age and still contributing is a fantastic effort.
I didn't know where you were going then, Sean, but I can't believe there's a positive coming out of that. Very good work. Division 4?
Division 4. Well, we have 6 teams in Division 4 on 3 wins and 1 loss. So it's a pretty interesting ladder.
Yeah.
6 teams all on the same. Hope Valley, Walkerville, Paraka, Plympton, Portland and Pembroke. No one really jumping out at this stage for me as the overwhelming favourite, although Walkerville had a terrific win on the weekend. But I've got to say there's 2 sides, and we mentioned this last week, and I'll keep mentioning this until they get a win, because your heart gets set on the pre-season. The pre-season seems to go forever. You can't wait for games to start.
Pumping me up, sure.
And then what you can't wait for is the first win. The first chance to sing the song and have a beer. Well, for Mitcham and Pulteney, they look a long way off their first win. And Pulteney in particular, their B-grade score on the weekend was horrendous for a B-grade score. So I'm not sure what's happening out there. But good luck to those two sides in getting through to their first win. Division 5.
Yeah, I think they got a point.
The B-grade?
Yeah, I think they did. I looked the score up today. Anyway, that was one of our games that was being filmed from on top of the trailer. Very well done. Division 5 Wakefield Clinic. One thing, Lockley's 99-point win over Eastern Park. B. Haran 10, if you don't mind, 10 big ones. Division 6, Sean, I'll throw them to you quickly here.
Is that it for 5?
That's it.
Very, very quick. Div 6, what have I got there? Well, not a lot, except I'll run with the same theme, and that is Fitzroy, come on, the Roy boys. Get up for a win. I think the girls are also winless, so not a lot happening near where you live, Tony. I guess your Saturday nights are quieter, you're able to get to sleep a little bit quicker. And the thing that's confusing me, I hope someone can explain this to me, that the ladder has Central United on top with 4 games played, but 14 points. How many points do you get for a win?
Might be a misnomerly, mate.
A misnomerly?
Yes. Do you want me to spell it?
I don't think there's...
M-I-Z. No,
Yes.
it just might be... Don't read everything. It's like stats, mate. You can make out of it what you like. But good point. Maybe they've counted twice. Anyway, Division 7. You finished with Division 6?
6 is done and dusted.
That's all you had? 14? Nah. Division 7. Interesting with Division 7. 3 games were decided by 19 points or less. Then Mitchell Park defeated O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale by 37 points. Wait for this. O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale kicked 6 goals 11. T. Rigney, 4 goals out of the 6. However, he does show up in our marks this week. Fair income. I had to go through the marks today. We get them from all the games, of course, and we want people to send them in.
Yes, please.
If we miss some, because we get 37 games played on the weekend.
Can't get through them all, guys,
yes.
So if you see something, send it in for sure.
So what happened, I picked one, and then there was a better one. Then there was a better one. He took some absolutely, I'll take my hat off to you if I had one on.
Good player.
Some absolutely specky marks.
Been a good player
up
for a long
forward and kicked 4 of their goals. So that is
Hang on,
our
before you
division
wrap it up.
Go on.
I think it was one player we did forget to mention.
got a bit
West
more, yeah.
Croydon's Woodcock kicked his 700th goal on the weekend, I believe. So well done to him for 700 goals. Is a massive achievement.
Woodcock. Woody.
Splinter. Yeah.
Very
that's
good.
so cool.
Well done. 700 there.
700 is good effort.
All
Well
this
done.
year?
No, not all this year.
I thought it might be like that other one you had with the numbers.
That,
anyway,
folks, is a wrap.
no, you think it is, it's not, because the women's, remember, go to social media for all the women's, and Phil Herden has given a fairly comprehensive. However, we've got some vision of the Happy Valley women who are on top of Division 1. The excitement in these women coming off the ground, you think women's football's going all right, it's gone to another level. These women, so happy for them, so excited. They're on top. They had a 39-point win over Broadview. Women's football is alive and it's electric. So we'll go to the vision. It is sensational.
G'day footy fans and welcome on Between the Posts to the Women's Wrap. My name's Phil Herden. Let's get into round 4 of all the women's grades in the Adelaide Footy League. We start Power 8, Division 6, and the league leaders Edwardstown and Pembroke Old Scholars had strong wins against Adelaide University and Loreto Old Scholars respectively. Elsewhere, Modbury will be kicking themselves. They did kick enough behinds. 1 goal 12, Athelston, bit more accurate, took away, some would say stole, a 2-point win. As for Marion, they watched it all with the bye. The ladder in Power 8 Division 6 after 4 rounds is starting to take shape. Pembroke with 4 straight, Edwardstown also unbeaten with that weird tie draw, whatever you call it, from the AFLW Grand Final. Athelston on 4 points, Modbury 3, they're in the 4. Loreto not far behind, Marion, Adelaide University, they're looking for first premiership points. The games this weekend at Daly Oval, Pembroke Old Scholars are the home team, but it is at Hectorville. They host the winless Rams. At Modbury, this looks like a tight one, Modbury and Loreto. And at Uni Oval at 3:15, Adelaide Uni host Athelston. Edwardstown, they have the bye in the Power 8 Division 6 this weekend. We move to the Safety Hub Division 5 and we have ourselves a draw. Again, the Cats, 2 goals 8, Kilburn 3 goals 2, adds up to 20 either way. Eastern Park had a good strong win over North Haven and Jeps Cross stayed unbeaten, shutting out Elizabeth. The ladder, Jeps Cross unbeaten, Eastern Park 3-1, Elizabeth 2-2, Kilburn and Woodville South. That draw really hasn't separated them much, just percentage in it, and North Haven, the sole winless team. As we look at the schedule here, round 5 of the Safety Hub Division 5, Kilburn and Jeps Cross at Blair Athol, not far for Jeps Cross to travel. Same for Eastern Park. When Elizabeth and Eastern Park get together, it's a great rivalry in the men, assuming something similar will happen here in the women at Agana Park. And Woodville South head up the peninsula towards North Haven, come down the peninsula and play at Ledger Road, trying to get their first win against Woodville South. Billy's Bakery Division 4, 4 large results here. Ingle Farm shut out Rosewater, West Croydon stayed unbeaten, beating Glenunga, Lockleys over Hectorville, and Pulteney over Marion. Our closest margin there, 6 goals. The ladder, after that, starting to separate a little. West Croydon unbeaten, Pulteney and Lockleys with 3 wins, Ingle Farm and Hectorville with 2, Marion and Glenunga with 1, and Rosewater looking to get on the board wins-wise. The schedule this weekend in the Billy's Bakery Division 4, West Croydon will put their undefeated record on the line at home against the Bulldogs of Ingle Farm. Hectorville, part of that women's doubleheader, will play Rosewater at Daly Oval. Lockleys and Pulteney, game of the round, both 3-1 at the Lockleys Oval. And Glenunga and Marion look evenly matched when they clash at Webb Oval in Glenunga. To the 9U's Division 3, and here we had victories to Hope Valley, 13 points over Flinders Park. The Bombers over Mitcham by 17. Golden Grove, 33 points over Goodwood Saints. And Kenilworth kept Fitzroy winless by just over 11 goals. Our ladder sees Goody Saints and Golden Grove on 3 wins. Kenilworth just behind them half a game. And then Flinders Park, Mitcham and Brighton not separated by much. Hope Valley 1.5 wins. Fitzroy looking to get something going soon. The matchups, Goody Saints hosting Hope Valley Saturday afternoon, Goodwood Oval. Kenilworth and Flinders Park looks like a great game at St Mary's. Sam Johnson Sports Ground, Fitzroy hosting Brighton, and at Mitcham, it's the Hawks against Golden Grove. Now we had a request during the week from Kerry. Why don't we give the scores from the Div 2 reserves and the Div 1 reserves? So you know what? Why not? Let's bring them in. Round 4, Golden Grove over Goodwood Saints. Flinders Park over Gazer. Tea Tree Gully, Kerry's team, over Henley by 64 points. Brighton had the bye in this division reserves comp. Flinders Uni, Tea Tree Gully are heading for an undefeated clash at some point. Henley, Goodwood, Brighton, Golden Grove, Gazer, all on one win. So 2 teams shooting out the lights, the rest not far behind, all in a bit of a logjam. How does that get sorted this Saturday in the Cinderella's Commercial Cleaning Division 2 reserves? Well, Goodwood Saints and Gazer meet at Goodwood, Tea Tree Gully and Flinders Park. There they are, 2 unbeatens, bang, game of the round at Pertaringa. And at Henley Memorial Oval, Henley and Brighton, again, evenly matched. Golden Grove have the bye this week in the reserves. In the Cinderella's Commercial Cleaning Division 2 League, Blackfriars beat Flinders University by 45 points. Gazer beat Scotch by 50, and Henley and Tea Tree Gully, second draw of the weekend. Anglevale, the Owls, had a night off. Flinders University, Blackfriars, in the league, 3-1. Anglevale, 2 wins. Then a few on 1 win, Tea Tree Gully and Henley 1.5, Gazer just the 1. Scotch Old Collegians needing to get a wriggle on. The games this week at Anglevale, the Owls host Gazer. At Pertaringa, Tea Tree Gully and Scotch. At Henley, the Sharks and Flinders University. Blackfriars Old Scholars have the bye. Division 1 reserves, Smosh West Lakes by 8 over Adelaide Uni. They stay on top. Old Ignatians over Paynham by 11. Happy Valley, those mighty Vikings, took care of Broadview by 5. And Morphy Parks, the Roos, were spectators. The ladder in the Division 1 reserves, Smosh unbeaten, Adelaide Uni also on 3 wins, Morphy Parks Broadview 2-1 in the 5, Old Ignatians Happy Valley out of it, and the Falcons looking to fly real soon. To the Division 1 League, and Adelaide University took care of Smosh West Lakes, 4 goals. Old Ignatians, 5 more scoring shots, 5-point win over Paynham, and Happy Valley had a pretty good day, 39-point winners at the Valley Sports Park over Broadview, and again, Morphy Park's the bye. The league ladder, Happy Valley and Old Ignatians lead the way on 3 wins, Morphy Parks with that bye a game behind, Adelaide Uni also in the 4, Broadview, 1 win, Paynham Norwood Union and Smosh will clash at some point, so someone's going to get a win. The double headers this week, Paynham Norwood Union and Happy Valley, 130 in the reserves, 315 in the league. Happy Valley, a better record in both those areas. At Broadview, double header, Broadview and Adelaide University. Adelaide University would probably be favourite in both there. And at Kellett Reserve, Morphy Park's back from the bye, hosting Smosh. Now that'll be a huge game in the reserves. In the league, the Lions looking for win number 1. Old Ignatians have the bye. So that's it. That is every division in the women's competition in the Adelaide Footy League. Do what Kerry did. See what we'll do next week. Just don't ask me to sing. But let us know what's happening at your club. Let us know so we can promote. Email me, phil@footytimes@gmail.com. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Same time next week. Until then, enjoy your footy.
Well, folks, they've finally done it. Don't put the lunatic in charge of the asylum, but they have. They've made me the press man. So what I'm doing is TNT, Tony Neill Travels. But in all seriousness, we want to highlight a lot of the clubs in the league. We're going to be coming around during the week and sometimes even on game day, as we did last Saturday, and conducting some interviews. So if you see me around the traps, come up and say g'day. We might even get you on camera with a bit of an interview. I'd like to thank the following teams for their tremendous access and for the interviews on Saturday. Pulteney and Plimpton, we got the coaches of both teams and the presidents, and you get an insight of how the lower division clubs, the Division 4, 5, 6, 7s and so on, how they operate. Fantastic interviews. Westminster, we popped into the B grade rooms because they'd had a win. Lo and behold, the presidents are playing, president plays in the B grade, and we also went around the room and got some great footage, so thank you to those players as well. CBC Old Collegians cannot thank the coach enough. We went up and got permission and we actually walked around the huddle at quarter time, got some vision of the talk. There was no swearing, conducted himself fantastic, and some of the looks on the players' faces and the reactions and so on. So that was fantastic. We popped out to Glenunga versus Brighton. They gave us some fantastic access at half time, pre, during and post half time, plus an interview as well with one of the officials from Brighton. We finished up at Goodwood versus Port Districts, depending on which team won, which in this case was Goodwood. Fantastic by Luke Donaldson to allow us into the rooms. We got an interview with Luke, and we also worked the room with some of the players as well. So have a look. All of these interviews and footage are going to be up on the Adelaide Football League social media pages over the next few days, and I look forward to catching up with you. Look for the funny man in the hat, catching up with you at a ground very soon.
But Mahuta goes all the way. Where again, Mahuta?
Good grab by Anjana, then Crone late. It's Anjana the grey. Anjana. Hillholders went home best.
Life on the wire, twitchy Frank.
Classic legend, Wild Planet kicking back, Crone dashing through, will beat the lot of them, Crone!
Laughalay's coming out, they reach the line, nearly a dead heat.
But this is speedy and professional, Profiteer for Mickey D is going to win easily.
Herden continued to open them up late and won very impressively.
Well, folks, have a listen to this for a footballing resume. I'm about to interview a Division 1 coach. Guess who it is? As a player, he played AFL at Carlton. He played VFL at Carlton. He played for 3 SANFL clubs and also had a stint in the NTFL. The awards include the AFL Rising Star nominee, the JJ Liston Trophy, which of course is the best and fairest in the VFL. He's won the McGarry Medal, which is also the best and fairest in the SANFL. He's a Foss Williams medalist, which is best on ground versus Western Australia in a state game. It's in the genes, it's in the bloodlines, because his father Owen has also won the QAFL Grogan Medal in 71 and 75. His father is also in the Queensland Hall of Fame and the Queensland Team of the Century. Boy, oh boy, it goes on. Coaching. Stints at Glenelg, South Adelaide. Of course, the 2016 Premiership for the Prince Alfred Old Collegians. He's also the current coach of Brighton, been here since 2021, and he's also had a go at the state coaching for the Adelaide Football League. I talk of the great man, Brett Backwell. Well, it was an outstanding introduction, so welcome, Brett.
No, Tony, thanks for having me.
Mate, I'm that excited about this interview because we're going to do things a little bit differently, folks. Just go into a little bit of the background and what makes Brett tick and so on. And it's fascinating how this gentleman has got to this point. Of course, mate, you've had a long and distinguished career. You've played and worked alongside some magnificent coaches. We talk of David Parkin, David Noble, Brett Ratton, all in the AFL now. Of course, Mark Mickinen and Brad Gotch, just to name a few. Mate, what are some of the lessons you might have learnt or the distinguishing traits of each person?
Yeah, look, I've been really fortunate to spend some time under some great coaches. Good people, and all different. And what it does is it probably enhances the reasons why there's no one way to coach. And if you can take a little bit of David Parkin's theatrics and his passion, yes. Meticulousness of a David Noble and the way he operates, Mark Micken's philosophies around psychology and his preparation Monday to Friday, and then Brad, a guy like a Brett Ratton or a Brad Gotch with their footy IQ and their intel is just phenomenal. So, for me, it's I want to be my own person. I want to be my own coach. Right. But if you can take a little bit of what they did and And also the bad things you saw coaches do, and not to do what, you tick that off and say, look, that's one thing I'll never do as a coach, and hopefully you live that as well. So yes, you take the good, but you also look at the bad and adapt and mould, but ultimately you still want to be your own person and coach the way that I want to coach.
The other thing, I know you won't talk it up, so I will for you. You're very big on developing others, and I know you've helped out a lot of guys here in this state. You've got some AFL players as a current AFL best and fairest player that you've put a lot of work into as well. And also the grassroots players, and we've spoken about this, there's players here, there and everywhere that you stay in contact with, and I really admire that. So not only development of self, but development of others, and as you said, making the people here better. Let's talk about Brighton, the recruits this year, and maybe some of the challenges of COVID.
Yeah, COVID's great. Although I think tonight, or it's Friday now, I think tonight the close contact rules change, so that's going to be a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
No more of that. So no guys ringing me on a Friday night or a Saturday morning pulling out because they're a close contact. But yeah, that's the environment we live in these days, and I think you've got to be flexible enough, and hopefully we've developed enough talent that can come in and play and fill a role. And we saw last year we played 49 players in the A grade, debuted 19. So we've got a lot of depth. Now some of those guys aren't up to Div 1 footy. That's fine. But hopefully what it does is exposes them to a level, and they get to experience what it's like to chase Jack Trengove around for 2 hours, or Plano Dillon or Cello, or a Nick Davis or Nick Jolly, because there's some big boys at this competition. So that was one good thing.
And Brett, the focus areas this year, this was a great discussion earlier that we'd had, and we sort of had a chuckle because I was going to say, okay, what's your focus areas, and what's the legacy that you'd like to leave here, or what are the players' legacy? It actually goes together. So you talked about building the person, not the athlete. Just break this down, what you'd like to share, I guess, with us, because there's some of this is personal, but the focus area for the year, and talk a little bit around the legacy stuff. It's fascinating, this.
Yeah, we spoke at length about legacy, and when you come to a footy club such as this with the history and the old, we've moved from the old facility to these brand new facilities here, which is unbelievable, but it just, the players sort of mentioned that it had lost a bit of that footy club feel. So we wanted to bring back the legacy of the Brighton Footy Club. And part of that is a 3-step stage. So we need to honour the past. We need to honour and represent the players and the past greats that have come before us. So every time we take the field or put that jumper on, we want to represent what's come before us, because they've created a pathway for us to be able to come and do what we do today. We need to represent now too. So we need to be present, and we need to build an environment and a group now that's going to build the next legacy. But then we also need to create a path for the future. So it's honouring the past, represent the now, create a future. So we're really strong on that, and making sure that guys understand that. And it's not take. We want to give stuff back to the past and also to the future. You come down on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night or even a Friday night, and there'll be 200-300 kids running around out here. So let's create that future for them. And people that come in, and me especially, I might be here for 12 months, I might be here for 10 years. As long as when I walk away from here, or players come in, when they leave in that period of time, they become better people. Because better people become better people, become better players.
And you and I would know, when you're younger, when you play, you think, oh, this will last forever. They haven't paid the power bill down here at Brighton, no. But
too much
we'll be right. Just look at the silhouettes. Yes, because your career might be 10, 12, 14 years as a player, but it does go like that, and you look back and you say, who am I going to catch up with? What did I get out of that? Who did I play with? What were my coaches like? And, you do remember that, because relationship building is catching up with these people 10, 15, 20 years down the track.
Hence I'm catching up with you now. I still go back, and
flick through
whether I'm a hoarder or not, but yeah, I've still got my Tony Neill programs to fit folder, and I still flick through the pyramid schemes and the stuff we work on, and whenever I'm struggling with a player I don't quite understand, I'll go and flick back through some notes, whether it's from, as you said, from Parkin or Brad Gotch or Tony Neill, and just see if there's ideas and ways that we can make them better, which is going to help me become a better coach, but also help the individual become a better player.
How is the body? I saw a mate of yours going around, the better side of 30, I won't say what age he was, on the weekend. He's still getting a kick down the country. Do you still get the itchy feet? Mate, I'm well past you, and I still carry the boots in the car. What's going on? You still get the itchy feet? How's the body holding up?
Yeah, the mouthguard and the boots are still sitting in the back of the car, so I might pull them out. Yeah, look, I'd love to. And I've got no doubts I could play. And I could play tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't play after that for the next 6 weeks. So one off would be fine. But no, look, as much as you'd love to play, and I may play a game at some stage at some level this year.
There's a scoop.
But no, coaching's a completely different beast. And the challenge that presents and the way you need to operate is something I love and have always wanted to do, even when I was playing. So for now, we'll stick to coaching.
All right, Brett, listen, mate, it has always been a pleasure to catch up and love our chats. And, folks, there's what a Division 1 coach, how a Division 1 coach operates, always looking for success, always looking for ways to improve. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you on, and wish you all the best, not only for this week, for the season, but also the future. Thanks so much, Brett.
No, thanks for having me, mate.
Well done.
Nine News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
Welcome back, and we're ready for the rundown of the week. 9 News Live, last Thursday the 28th of April, Tom Wren headed out to the Kilburn Footy Club. Thanks to Police Credit Union, a $500 cheque was given to the club. Rowies Roost didn't go off, with Talana and Jason kicking off to try and win $1,000 each. The Powerade Award went to Caroline Nabradi from the Kilburn Footy Club. Tom also had a great time with the Kilburn's inclusive footy team. The boys were still texting the producer around 10 p.m, telling him how excited they were to be on TV. And the crew? Well, they're off to the Para Hills Footy Club this Thursday night in time for the Breakthrough Mental Health Round. The Division 1 Best on Ground and Play of the Day is selected by the Adelaide Footy TV live stream commentators based on player performance. Our round 4, congratulations Jock McClay from SPOC, St Peter's Old Collegians. Jock has won a $100 New Balance voucher thanks to Belgravia Sports and a Dartfish beanie. Hasn't that got the cult following? Also, our round 4 winner, congratulations Luke Mitchell from SPOC. Luke has won a carton of Powerade. Mark of the Week, proudly brought to you by Bianco Constructions and Industrial Supplies. The round 4 winner is Justin Evans from the Brighton Football Club. Wins a $100 Bianco Construction Supplies voucher. Our goal of the week, supported by 5AA. The round 4 winner, Brodie Latham from the Tea Tree Gully Football Club, who wins a $50 Sip and Save voucher. The competition, thanks to the Police Credit Union, well, it ended up being a very close sprint on the last day between 2 clubs, and the winner will be announced on Police Credit Union's website, policecu.com.au on 9th of May 2022, thanks to our major sponsor, Police Credit Union.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
9 News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
Welcome back, folks. Well, that was a chock-a-block show this week. Fantastic, Sean, to be joined by yourself. And just a huge reminder, Breakthrough Mental Health Round is this week, May the 7th. You can get beanies, you can get socks. They are a fantastic supporter of the Adelaide Football League.
Yeah.
We've put the interview up with John Mannion and Zane Kirkwood. They're doing a great job down there. Such an important area of our great game, the mental health area, and we thank them. So Breakthrough Mental Health Round. Sean, you've got a little bit of news to finish with.
Oh, just a couple of thank yous. First of all, to the clubs that are making it easy for us to view the game, to call the game, and also to film the game. So two that spring to mind. Elite Scaffolding, a new sponsor for Teacher Gully, put a new structure next to the coach's box there, which has made it really good for our cameramen out there. And on the weekend, we called out at Prince Alfred College, and Jim Parkinson, as normal, put up a fantastic structure for us to be able to call the game. And it makes our job so much easier in watching the game, but it also means that we can bring a better vision to you at home by sitting up that high. So thanks to all the clubs who are making effort now. It's getting better and better each week.
Well, as I said, there's 67, 68 clubs, so there's 34 games plus the women's being filmed. So not everyone is commentated, of course, but we'd appreciate the clubs, and we do appreciate the ones already helping out. Most are doing it, but just to make a spot available for the filmers, if it can be in the back of a car a little bit higher up, that's great.
Yeah.
But just an area, because it's so important, because those games, Sean, then get put up through the week. Or on Saturday we had a club, I won't mention which one, but they asked for it to get up by a certain time because they were playing it after the awards. They had a function on, they were playing the game in the background.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yep.
What else we got?
Well, I guess a couple little bit of snippets for you. We were always worried what impact COVID would have on our clubs this year, and to find out this week that both Kenilworth and St Paul's have had to forfeit the rest of the season, their C grade, is a sad sign. So we hope both of those clubs are able to get through the season. Okay, with the A's and B's, we saw a situation with Pulteney last week. They had to forfeit A's and B's, so we hope we don't see too much of that. So good luck to those two clubs. Something that's been going around, I probably should have touched on this when we did the Division 3 roundup, to Mark Bourne, who played
named him.
First or second game. I think it was his first for Scotch on the weekend. Played last year mainly in the C grade, came out and kicked the last 2 goals of the game, and Scotch pinched a win on the weekend by less than a goal. Mark Bourne has been...
Oh, no.
There's footage, there's a little video he's put with his 2 goals with the music Titanic in the background.
Oh, no.
If you get a chance, folks, have a look at it. It is quite funny. That's it for the rumours. That's it for the innuendo. I'm away for the next couple of weeks, Tone. Yes.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just celebrating.
So apologies, folks, for what you're going to get the next couple of weeks. You'll be co-hosted by Craig Lambert next week.
Oh, yes.
Lambo. But more importantly, or as importantly, the match broadcast on the weekend. Who have you got?
Huge game this week. This will be an absolute belter because of the way the division's shaping. St Peter's versus Goodwood Saints down at Caterer Oval. So we'll have pre-game with the coaches. We'll have the game itself. That will be a belter. Lambo will be chasing someone up at half-time if he's not on the fang.
Chasing up the burgers.
Yeah, if he's not on the fang. And of course, the post-game wrap as well. It will be an absolutely huge game. And Sean, we're in May, not long to go now. We're heading towards winter now. So we're going to start to see a little bit different style of play, I would say, in some of the teams coming up into the winter months.
That may well be the case, Tone, but as I said, I won't be here for the next couple of games. But I will say to you, as I depart the building, that wherever you may be, make sure, if you're going to have a shot, that your shot goes directly between the posts.